So here's an idea. What if the biggest secrets to succeeding right now are actually hiding in business books from over 100 years ago? We're about to dig into some seriously timeless wisdom on connection, integrity, and pure hustle that, you'll see, is maybe more important today than it ever was.
And yeah, I get it. You're probably thinking, seriously? We've got AI, instant global markets? What are we going to learn from the age of steam trains and handwritten letters? Well, it turns out, a lot.
I mean, look, the tools are night and day. We've swapped typewriters for AI and ledgers for live dashboards. But here's the thing, the human operating system, that hasn't changed one bit. The things that drive us, trust, persuasion, resilience, they're hardwired in. And that makes the wisdom from back then surprisingly powerful today.
Okay, so let's jump into the first secret, and it's all about connection. You gotta remember, long before we had CRMs and automated emails, business was built one relationship at a time. It wasn't just a good idea, it was the only way to get things done.
Now check this out. This quote, you are not going to believe where this comes from. This is describing a successful debt collector from a 1910 guide called 1,000 Ways to Make a Living. So instead of being the bad guy, this collector's whole strategy was to be the debtor's friend, using empathy to get paid on accounts everyone else had written off as hopeless.
I mean, think about it. This is basically the world's first customer relationship management strategy, laid out right here. He didn't send threatening letters, he showed up in person, listened, and treated people like human beings. He built this little bridge of empathy, proving that even in the toughest situations, that human connection is your ace in the hole.
And this idea, it goes way beyond just difficult customers. Take this piece of advice. Always give more service than was asked of you. There's this great story about a young man who just lived by that rule. He wasn't just doing a job, he was building a reputation, creating what you might call a bank of goodwill. In today's language, he was building his personal brand. And that long-term play created a whole network of people who actually wanted to see him succeed.
All right, on to secret number 2. This focus on how you treat people, it drilled down to the absolute smallest details. 100 years ago, they knew that persuasion wasn't just about your big sales pitch. It was in every single thing you did and said.
And get this, entire sections of these old business textbooks were dedicated to something as basic as pronunciation. Why? Well, think about it. In a world with no LinkedIn, no online portfolios, how you spoke was your resume. It was an instant signal of your education, your credibility, and your attention to detail. It told people if you were someone to be taken seriously.
And you might think that's ancient history, but has anything really changed? The medium is different, but the principle is exactly the same. A typo in that critical pitch deck, a rambling email that makes no sense, mispronouncing a client's name on a call, these are the modern-day equivalents. They're the tiny cracks that make people question your entire foundation.
Okay, but what happens when things go really, really wrong? Well, the third secret we uncovered is this incredible mindset that these old books called hustling. It's this relentless, resourceful drive to not just survive a disaster, but to actually turn it into an advantage.
Let me set the scene. It's the mid-1800s in New York City. There's this up-and-coming merchant, A.T. Stewart, and he's got a massive loan payment coming due. He has no money. If he defaults, his business is toast. He's completely cornered.
So what does he do? He makes a move that looks absolutely insane. He slashes the prices on everything, selling his best merchandise for less than he paid for it. His one rule? Cash only. He knew that in a crisis, cash in hand is way more important than profit on paper.
And the result? Pure genius. People flooded his store. He sold out his entire inventory, generating a massive pile of cash. Not only did he pay off his debt, but with the money left over, he went back into a slow market and restocked his entire store at bargain basement prices. He didn't just survive, he turned a potential bankruptcy into a huge strategic victory.
And that move by Stewart, that is the hustler's mindset in a nutshell. It's this theme you see again and again in these books. It's about celebrating the person who's always alert, always moving, and always looking for the angle that turns a setback into the setup for their next win. It's just about being relentlessly resourceful.
So you've got connection, attention to detail, resourcefulness, but all of it is built on one final, unbreakable foundation. It's something that goes deeper than any strategy, and it's the one thing you can never automate or outsource, and that's character.
So let me tell you this story about a young financier named Mr. Stout. He gets stuck with this massive debt from a bad deal, a debt that really wasn't even his fault. The bank knew it too. They were totally ready to let him pay half, maybe even less, just to make it go away.
He had the easiest out imaginable. No one would have blamed him, but he didn't take it. He didn't argue, he didn't negotiate. He just quietly showed up again and again and paid back every single dollar of a debt that wasn't his, even though it almost wiped him out.
And that one act of pure integrity, it became the bedrock of his entire career. The story got around. People knew this was a man whose word was his bond. That reputation for unshakable character became his most valuable asset, the foundation stone for all of his future success. It was a long-term investment in trust, and boy did it pay off.
So what's the takeaway from all this? Connection, attention to detail, resilience, and character. These are not just charming ideas from some dusty old books. In a world that is getting more and more automated, these are the irreplaceable, unbeatable human advantages that will always win. The only question is, how are you investing in yours?